What up, everyone? What up, everyone? Now, last night's games were, I ain't gonna say amazing, but last night's games were intense. There was only 2 games in the NBA last night, and let's say I watched 80% of both of them last night. Uh, the first game, my Bucks played the San Antonio Spurs. Giannis versus Victor Wembanyama for the first time ever this season. The previous meeting was in Milwaukee a couple weeks ago when Victor was held out because of a sprained ankle. For the most part of this game, the Bucks controlled it until the third quarter. And time again, if you guys have been on this channel or subscribed to our channel for the longest time, the Bucks have found a way to manage to let teams back into the game, and you have heard me complain about it. Outside of Giannis, shoot, you know what? I'm not even gonna put everybody in this. This team is soft. This team is still soft. Last night's game against the San Antonio Spurs, I think his name is Devin Vassell. What's his number? I don't even know his number. But Devin Vassell had 34 points last night. 34 points, 4 assists. He just did anything he wanted to do last night against the Bucks. Nobody tried to stop him. Nobody tried to rough him up. He just got anything he wanted. Victor Wembanyama in 26 minutes, I think he was held out sometimes. I guess he's still, I don't know, sprained his ankle. The one thing about Victor Wembanyama compared to Tim Duncan when these first two got on this team, Tim Duncan got drafted to the San Antonio Spurs and changed that culture altogether. I think it was 56 and 26 the first year with Tim Duncan. It ain't gonna happen this year for Victor Wembanyama. Maybe I don't know. I ain't gonna. This is not hating at all. I don't know about Victor Wembanyama. I heard rumors that him and the team don't get along. They're sabotaging all kinds of stuff. But whatever's going on is not conducive to winning. And I already knew that he wasn't going to, I'm not going to say he wasn't going to live up to the hype, but I already knew he wasn't going to be on the level of Tim Duncan his first year. Let's just say that. And also, I don't think Popovich is the same coach that he was 26, 6 years ago as well. But anyways, he had 27 points, 9 rebounds, 5 blocks. I think he leads the league, but he did have 5 turnovers. I'll just say this. It was entertaining to see Victor go against Giannis. Giannis had an absolutely, outside of the other stuff, team-wise, had an absolutely amazing game last night, especially towards the last 2 minutes of that fourth quarter. He had 44 points, 14 rebounds, and 7 assists. Almost coming close. 3 shots from coming to triple-double, 1 turnover. He was knocking down. He knocked down 2 twos late in the third and late in the fourth. Got to the free throw line, knocked those down. He only went 4 for 6 from the free throw line, but he knocked down the free throws when it mattered. He went 19 for 28. He was just dunking everywhere and showing. I think one of them he did dunk on Victor. My problem, not just that the Bucks are soft as well at times, just letting anybody do anything like they did with Indiana the last couple of games. There was one thing I saw. I don't know what it is with Chris Middleton, but Chris Middleton was 5 for 8 in this game. He had 12 points. He was knocking them down early in the first and second. Then all of a sudden, in the fourth quarter, they just didn't go with him. He only played 15 minutes. 5 assists and 3 rebounds. I think they went with Pat Connaughton. And Pat Connaughton at times, I don't know what's going on with him anymore. I don't know if it's age, but I don't know. Brook Lopez had 9. Dame started out slow, and I'm starting to really regret. I can't say I regret, But I'm starting to think in my head, maybe trading for Dame wasn't the best idea. Um, he did have 25 points. He was terrible from three, 1 for 6, and he started out the game terrible. He did start to heat up towards the end of the game. Oh my goodness. He did start off slow in the beginning of the game, but heated up towards the end. He still needs to improve his defense. He had a little bit more pressure towards the end of the game. But I don't think the chemistry is still there between Giannis and Middleton, but the chemistry with Damian Lillard and Giannis is still shaky at best. At times it look good, other times I don't know. I think ever since Chris Middleton is starting to get back to the flow of things, Dame has pretty much, I wouldn't say gone downhill, but he's not as good as he was in the beginning of the year. But like I said, he had 20. Oh my goodness. He had 25 points, 10 for 19. Malik Beasley needs to stop shooting threes, sometimes take a mid-range. But he had 10 points. Bobby Porter's, I don't know what happened to him. Giannis pretty much played the most minutes of the team, played 40 minutes, and did not disappoint. Beauchamp, 8 points, campaign. All his points was from the free throw line. He kept shooting them dumbass threes. Pat Connaughton had 7. The rookie, Jackson Jr., played 5 minutes, but he was pretty much put out of the game after that. Beauchamp needs to get tougher at times. Can't keep blaming the refs, even though the refs did have some questionable calls. I was like, what? That's not a foul. That's a foul. That should have been a foul. That's not a block. But anyways, the Bucks got the win. I guess that's all that matters. For the Spurs, like I said, Vassell had 34. What's his name? Trey Jones had 18. Victor had 7. Sohan had 9. They had some production on the bench with Sadie Osman with 13 and Keldon Johnson with 14. He got put back on the bench. But yeah, they need to really improve. The Bucks, defensive wise, you can't play defense for 2 minutes. You don't need to play defense consistently throughout the whole entire game. But the Bucks win the series 2-0. Win this game 125-121. Go 25-10. Spurs 5-29. Terrible. Bucks are 9-7. They can't act like the Bucks were terrible on the road. They are about 500 on the road, but they can be better, I guess. As far as the Spurs, they only won 2 games at home. They won the other 3 on the road. And the other game that happened last night, I mainly watched the fourth quarter closely, but the Warriors, they got issues, big time issues, and I don't think Draymond Green is going to even help. See, the Warriors are up by 18 points with 6 minutes left in the fourth. I do say this. There were some questionable calls against the Warriors, but the Warriors are one of the, I think they are top leading teams when it comes to foul calls. But with the trips to the free throw line and the Nuggets, another team who, well, they better than the Bucks in defense, but they was kind of lacking on defense for the majority of this game. But for the last 6 minutes of this game, they really stepped it up with the defense and cut the lead down. And the next thing you know, it's a tie game at 127 with a minute left in this game. Maybe it wasn't that minute. Maybe 50 to 30 seconds left in this game. Steph Curry made a crucial turnover. Jamal Murray steals the ball. Mike Malone calls the timeout. Out of the timeout, Jokic gets the ball, dribbles, shoots a bank shot, makes the game winner, stunning the whole crowd at Chase Field. Or not Chase Field, that's out here in Phoenix. Chase Center in San Francisco. To me, I think the Warriors are at their end. I don't know where they're going to get another score from. Klay Thompson did have a good game today, or last night I should say. He did score 24 points. This game, they just blew it. Outside of the questionable calls, they just blew it. Because they got 16 from Kuminga, 30 from Curry, 24 from Thompson, 13 from Sark, 11 from Wiggins, and Padinsky had 13. Maybe they need more from Wiggins, because I think that's always what they wanted, was more out of Wiggins. Defensively, he's great, but offensively, he has not lived up to the height of what they want. Chris Paul. Chris Paul only had 19. No, not 19. He had 9 points. But yeah, as far as this game as a whole, the Warriors were just terrible towards the end, especially in the last 6 minutes. As far as the season, in order to get back into the playoffs, maybe they might need another score, but I don't know who that's going to come from. Who are they going to get to do that? These teams, well, so far this season, the Nuggets are 3-0 in the regular season series. The last game coming on Christmas Day, and they got one more game next month on the 25th and San Francisco. But I just think this is pretty much the end for the Golden State Warriors, unless something drastic happened. In my humble opinion, they should have kept Jordan Poole and got rid of Draymond Green. And that's where your second score would have came from. Aaron Gordon was brilliant. He had 30 points. Michael Porter Jr., 8 points. Jokic had 34. Jamal Murray with 25. Caldwell Pope with 8. They got a lot of production for the rookie. What's his name? Peyton Watson with 19 points. And a Thunder's jam he had, and a late 3 towards the end of the game that inched this game closer for the Nuggets winning. And that was pretty much the only production they got off the bench, big time, was from him. Everybody else scored 2 points that played. But yeah, Nuggets look like a championship team. The Warriors look like has-beens. And the last topic I want to speak about is one James Harden of the Los Angeles Clippers. So recently he has said that he hasn't heard much talking since the Clippers have been, I guess, winning. But here's the thing about that. We was only talking because you guys were absolutely terrible. But I don't want to hear anything about regular season stuff. I know they're going to get to the playoffs. If you don't get to the playoffs with that team, then something is obviously wrong. Here's the problem with James Harden. Not so much Paul George, not so much Kawhi Leonard, or even one Russell Westbrook. James Harden, my guy. I know you're getting all offended because people was on your head, and I think recently Kendrick Perkins said something about you, and you fired back at him from you said he was missing during the 2012 NBA Finals against the Miami Heat. But here's the thing with you, James Harden. Kendrick Perkins got a ring. James Harden, you as the man so far, you have done jack squat. When it's time for you to, when those spotlights get hot, when the games get testy, when the games get difficult, get tighter, your ass ain't nowhere to be found half the time, or your ass choking. And this are facts, obvious facts, because this is what happened every year with James Harden. Either you James Harden fans out there don't want to believe it or not. The man chokes, the man hides, the man ducks, whatever. He hasn't lived up to the hype of I wouldn't say live up to the hype. He has not been when they need him to be in the playoffs. Houston, Brooklyn ain't really gonna count, but Houston, Philly. We'll give you credit if you actually show up this playoffs on the Clippers. But anyways, that's all my response to James Harden. I know one thing. If not the Nuggets coming out of the West for the finals, I would say the Clippers would be there. And they continue the path that they're on. I wouldn't mind them winning. It'll be good for Paul George. It'll be good for one Russell Westbrook, especially With him being the oldest player on this team, or I should say the player that's been in the league the longest out of all four of them, he has strived, sacrificed, and suffered the most since being in the NBA. It would be nice to see him get one. But as far as James Harden getting one, nah, you don't deserve one, my guy. All that shucking and jiving you've been doing in your whole career, or I should say your whole career, ever since you left OKC to go to Houston, nah, you don't deserve one. You got lucky just to land in a nice spot in the Clippers. But anyways, some people will say, that's hating. But you know what? I got a video about hating coming up pretty soon. But I think my two teams I think might be coming out of the West, either the Clippers or the Nuggets. As far as the East, Boston. Milwaukee's soft as hell. They don't deserve to go anywhere. Can't beat the Spurs. Well, I should say can't beat. They did beat the Spurs. You can barely beat the Spurs. You don't deserve to go to the finals.